I was the most feared top female assassin across the land. Always dancing on the edge of life and death. Ruthlessness was my middle name. But now, to save my brother, I charged into this raging inferno without hesitation. The flames greedily licked at my skin, waves of excruciating pain washing over me. My consciousness slowly faded into darkness. When I woke up, I found myself in a small, dim room. The air smelled stale and rotten, stinging my nose. My head throbbed as if hit by a sledgehammer. Amid the pain, a flood of unfamiliar memories rushed into my mind. I had been reborn as a timid, bullied high school girl in the countryside. Wushuang. The sun is already up. Still sleeping. Get to school, or do you want to be scolded again? An impatient woman's voice shouted from outside the door. Fighting the intense headache, I slowly got up and looked into the broken mirror. The girl in the reflection was thin and young, her eyes full of fear and insecurity. Seeing this, I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Fate sure had a twisted sense of humor. I, who once held power over life and death, had been reduced to this. I packed my things and left the house. Along the way, whispers from the neighbors felt like needles in my ears. That Ye girl looks so useless. I wonder if she'll ever amount to anything. Yeah, always so timid, no spirit at all. I stayed calm, ignoring them, but inside I sneered. Better not mess with me, or you'll regret it. As soon as I stepped into the schoolyard, hostile stares shot my way like arrows. Well, if it isn't Ye Wushuang. Didn't get enough of a beating yesterday. Back for more. A girl with bleached hair and heavy makeup, along with her lackeys, blocked my path like a pack of wolves. Calmly, I uttered 2 words, move aside. The blonde girl seemed surprised by my coolness. After a moment of shock, she burst into shrill laughter. Listen to her. Girls. She actually told me to move. How dare she talk to me like that? She reached out to shove me. A cold glint flashed in my eyes. Just before her hand touched me, I moved like lightning, grabbing her wrist and twisting it sharply. Ah, she screamed in pain, dropping to her knees with a thud. Her followers stood frozen, shocked that the always timid me had fought back. I warn you, don't mess with me again. Or else. This is what happens, I said coldly, scanning the group before releasing her wrist. The blonde girl scrambled away in fear, her lackeys following in a panic. Everyone around stared at me as if I were a monster, their eyes wide with disbelief. Humph, this is just the beginning. Those who dare bully me will pay. I entered the classroom just as the bell rang. As I sat down, Mr. Chen, the homeroom teacher, walked in with a dark expression. Seeing me, he frowned in disgust and yelled, Ye Wushuang, you're late again. Go stand outside. I looked up at him but didn't move. His face turned furious. What? You dare disobey me? Do you even respect me as your teacher? Mr. Chen. Just now in the hallway, Wang Chang and Li Hua were fighting. Why didn't you stop them, but only focus on me being late? Is this what you call fairness and justice as a teacher? I asked firmly, without backing down. Mr. Chen's face turned red with anger. You're making excuses. I'll deal with them later. Now go stand outside and reflect. Sir, if you can't treat every student fairly, how can you expect me to obey you? Besides, I already explained that I was delayed because someone blocked my way. Isn't it unfair to punish me without even asking for reasons? I stood up fearlessly, my gaze fixed on him. The classroom fell silent, everyone was stunned by my boldness. Mr. Chen was left speechless. After a long pause, he finally muttered, Fine, sit down. But don't let it happen again. I snorted coldly and sat down slowly. This teacher always favored the rich and high-achieving students. Today, I made it clear that I, Ye Wushuang, won't be pushed around. During break, a boy wearing expensive clothes and looking full of himself swaggered over. It was Lin Yu, the young master of the Lin family and my fiancé. He looked at me with disgust and sneered, Ye Wushuang, don't think that being engaged to me will let you climb the social ladder. A country bumpkin like you isn't even fit to shine my shoes. I looked up and smiled faintly. Oh. Then tell me, what makes me unworthy of you? Lin Yu scoffed, looking me up and down contemptuously. You're just a timid village girl with no experience. Compared to the elegant young ladies around me, you're like dirt under their feet. If you look down on me so much, let's call off the engagement. But are you sure those elegant young ladies actually respect you? I stood up, my gaze sharp as a knife. Lin Yu seemed uneasy under my stare but stubbornly insisted, stop causing trouble. There's no way I'm marrying you. Fine, let's end it. But you should understand, it's not me who's beneath you, I said disdainfully. Surprised by my directness, Lin Yu paused, then laughed mockingly. Alright, it's your choice. Don't come crying to me later. He turned and walked away. I don't care about someone this shallow. He'll regret his words someday. After school, as I stepped out of the gate, a black luxury car pulled over. Several big men in black suits got out and blocked my path. The leader said emotionlessly, Ye Wushuang. Our boss wants to see you. Frowning, I asked coldly, who is your boss? What does he want? The man didn't answer, just gestured for me to get in the car. Seems like someone's getting impatient, I thought. I got in and was taken to a luxurious villa. In the hall, a middle-aged man sat on a sofa, legs crossed, looking at me arrogantly. So you're Ye Wushuang. If you know what's good for you, stay away from Lin Yu. Don't aim above your station. Our Lin family is out of your league. So it was the Lin family trying to pressure me. I smiled coldly and retorted fearlessly, my matters with Lin Yu are none of your business. Besides, I've already decided to break off the engagement. Save your breath. The man's face darkened. Don't think it's that easy. Our Lin family isn't to be trifled with. If you don't cooperate, you'll face the consequences. Consequences? I'd like to see what the Lin family can do to me. I, Ye Wushuang, wasn't raised to be intimidated, I said firmly, staring back without flinching. The man was momentarily stunned by my confidence. After a pause, he waved his hand angrily. Get out. Don't think we're done with you. I snorted and left. You're not qualified to threaten me. By the time I left the Lin villa, night had fallen. I walked home alone, the streets quiet except for the echo of my footsteps. Suddenly, I sensed someone following me. I quickened my pace without making it obvious. When I reached a secluded alley, I stopped abruptly and turned around, my sharp gaze piercing the darkness. A man stepped out of the shadows. He was tall and commanding, with an air of natural nobility. His face was strikingly handsome, his deep eyes like stars in the night sky, full of mystery. I watched him cautiously. Who are you? Why are you following me? The man smiled gently, a smile that seemed to warm the cold night. Don't be nervous. I mean no harm. I'm Jun Yichen. You saved my grandfather. I'm here to repay the favor. Frowning, I searched the original owner's memories but found nothing. I don't remember saving your grandfather. Are you sure you have the right person? Jun Yichen shook his head gently. There's no mistake. A few days ago, my grandfather got lost in the countryside, fell, and was injured. You took him to the hospital and even paid the medical bill. We later looked for you but found out you'd passed away and been reborn into this life. So it was something the original owner had done. How do you plan to repay me? I asked, curious. Jun Yichen looked at me intently, his voice resolute. Whatever you need, I'll do everything in my power to support you. No questions asked. Somehow, I felt a strange sense of trust toward him. Alright, I hope you keep your word, I said. From that day on, Jun Yichen became my loyal shadow, always by my side, showing up whenever I was in trouble. With Jun Yichen's full support, I began to build my own network. Using the connections and sharp instincts I had developed as an assassin, I gathered a group of people with unique talents. Among them were skilled martial artists forced into difficult circumstances, talented entrepreneurs who never had a chance to shine, and information brokers who excelled at gathering intelligence. They were drawn to my capabilities and charisma, and they were all willing to follow me to build something great together. We started with small, seemingly insignificant businesses, like a specialty snack shop and a small online store. During operations, I made the most of my accurate market sense and decisive decision-making. I noticed that local handmade crafts had great potential. So I led the team to dig deeper. We partnered with local artisans and brought these beautiful handicrafts to the national market, achieving huge success. As funds gradually grew, we stepped into larger business ventures. During one project bid, we found ourselves facing the Lin family's company. The Lin family looked at me with both surprise and disdain. "You think you can compete with us? How arrogant," Lin Yu sneered. I smiled confidently. "We'll see who's being arrogant when the results are out." During the bidding process, thanks to our well-planned strategy, accurate market understanding, and strong team, we successfully beat the Lin family and won the key project. The Lin family's faces turned pale with anger, especially Lin Yu, who was fuming and grinding his teeth. This victory helped me make a name for myself in the business world. After losing the bid, the Lin family held a grudge and often used underhanded tricks against me. But every time, with my sharp wits and Jun Yichen's help, I easily countered their moves and even turned the tables on them. Lin Yu grew increasingly frustrated but could do nothing to stop me. At a major business banquet, Lin Yu showed up with his new girlfriend, making a flashy entrance. When he saw me, he raised his voice loudly and said, "Look, honey, that's Ye Wushuang. She used to cling to me desperately, and now she must be full of regret seeing me with you." His girlfriend glanced at me dismissively and said with a sneer, "How could she ever compare to me? She should know her place and stop dreaming." I walked straight up to them with a cold smile. "Lin Yu, you're as shallow as ever. Do you really think having a so-called noble girlfriend makes you special?" Lin Yu snorted arrogantly. "Doesn't it? Look at yourself. Do you even deserve to stand here and talk to me? Deserve? Do you think I care about talking to you? You're just a spoiled heir. Look at how your family is struggling now, losing to me at every turn. How dare you still act so proud?" I shot back without mercy. People around us overheard and began whispering and pointing at Lin Yu. His face turned red and then pale with rage. "You, how dare you?" he yelled. "Dare? After all the humiliation you put me through, this is nothing. Now you should understand who's truly beneath whom." With that, I turned and walked away gracefully, leaving Lin Yu and his girlfriend shaking with anger. From then on, Lin Yu never dared to act arrogantly in front of me again. Whenever he saw me, he would slink away awkwardly. As Jun Yichen and I worked side by side, our feelings for each other grew quietly but surely, like a gentle stream. He was always there for me, offering a warm cup of coffee when I was tired or giving me encouraging words and steady support when I felt lost. Day by day, I developed deep and special feelings for him. Once, while we were on an important mission, we walked into an enemy ambush. The attackers were numerous and aggressive. At the critical moment, Jun Yichen stepped in front of me without hesitation, taking a deadly blow meant for me. As he fell, his clothes stained with blood, my heart clenched in pain. "Jun Yichen, are you okay? Hang in there." I cried out desperately, tears blurring my vision. "Don't worry. I'm fine. As long as you're safe," he said weakly, still managing a reassuring smile. In that moment, I realized how irreplaceable he had become in my heart. Under my careful watch, Jun Yichen slowly recovered. "You fool. Why did you take that hit for me? Do you know how close I came to losing you?" I said, my eyes filled with worry and scolding. Jun Yichen gently held my hand and looked at me tenderly. "Because I couldn't let you get hurt. Your safety means more to me than my own life." Hearing his words, tears streamed down my face. We held each other tightly, as if the world had faded away, leaving only the sound of our heartbeats. In that moment, we both knew our feelings were solid and unshakable. As my reputation in the business world grew, mysterious clues about my past began to surface. By chance, while sorting through old family belongings, I found a worn-out diary. The pages were yellowed, and the writing was faded but still readable. From it, I learned that my birth parents were not ordinary villagers, they were once the leaders of a vast business empire. When I was very young, our family suffered a sudden, terrible disaster. A mysterious group, seeking our family's business secrets and wealth, launched a brutal attack. To protect me, my parents secretly sent me to the countryside, changed our names, and cut off all contact. The people who harmed my parents were now powerful figures in the business world. Learning this truth ignited a burning desire for revenge in my heart. Jun Yichen. I will avenge my parents. Those who hurt them will pay with their blood, I said, clenching my fists, my eyes shining with determination and anger. Jun Yichen held me gently but firmly. I'll always be by your side. No matter how difficult it gets. We'll face it together and bring justice for your parents. With Jun Yichen's support and encouragement, I embarked on a difficult journey to uncover the truth about my past. Each clue was like a key, slowly unlocking the door to my history, bringing me closer to the truth. To fully uncover the mystery of my past and avenge my parents, Jun Yichen and I began investigating the events from years ago. We traveled everywhere, gathering clues and meeting people connected to my family. However, the process was full of dangers, and every step was risky. The forces that had harmed my family noticed our actions and began frantically trying to stop us. They sent waves of assassins to silence us and force us to give up. Each time, we narrowly escaped thanks to our skills and seamless teamwork. But our enemies grew more desperate and cruel. During our investigation, we finally found a key witness from the past. But just before we could meet them, the witness suddenly disappeared. We searched everywhere but found nothing. Later, we learned the witness had been captured and killed by our enemies, who left clues behind to taunt us. Faced with their arrogance, my anger burned even brighter. Jun Yichen, the more they try to stop us, the more determined I am. I will expose their crimes and make them pay, I said through gritted teeth. Jun Yichen held my hand firmly, his eyes steady. You're right. We can't back down. No matter what they do, we'll keep going. Despite the overwhelming challenges and constant dangers, we refused to be intimidated. On the contrary, it only strengthened our resolve to uncover the truth and avenge my parents. We knew the road ahead was filled with thorns, but we faced it fearlessly, because we had each other. Though our enemies constantly threw obstacles in our path, Jun Yichen and I never gave up. Like two keen hounds, we pursued every tiny clue. After countless setbacks and dangers, the scattered pieces of the puzzle slowly began to come together. We discovered that the tragedy that struck my family was actually the result of a conspiracy orchestrated by several powerful business tycoons. They had coveted a core technology my family possessed, one so advanced it could reshape the entire industry. To seize it, they resorted to any means necessary, framing my parents and tearing our family apart. Following this trail, we found individuals who had been forced to conceal the truth back then. With Jun Yichen's extensive connections and my persuasion, they finally found the courage to step forward and provide evidence. These pieces of evidence were like crucial fragments of a puzzle, slowly revealing the full picture of what had happened. We also learned that these tycoons had deep ties with political circles and the underworld to cover up their crimes. They used these connections to dominate the business world and crush anyone in their way. But now, I was no longer afraid. Jun Yichen, the truth is within reach. They will pay for what they did, I said, my eyes shining with determination. Jun Yichen nodded, his gaze just as resolute. Yes. Their days of freedom are numbered. With solid evidence in hand, we began carefully planning our counterattack. We knew our enemies were powerful, so we had to be precise and strike decisively. First, we used the media to anonymously release some of the evidence, sparking widespread public attention. The outcry was instant. Accusations against the business tycoons flooded in. Their company stocks plummeted, and business partners grew anxious, demanding explanations. At the same time, I leveraged my business connections to rally righteous entrepreneurs and launched a full-scale siege on our enemies' commercial operations. We cut off their funding, snatched key projects, and kept them scrambling on the business battlefield. Jun Yichen used his family's influence to push government authorities into launching a formal investigation. Officials who had colluded with the tycoons began to panic, each concerned only with saving themselves. We even reached out to friends in the underworld to keep the enemy's hired killers and thugs at bay, preventing them from interfering. Everything proceeded smoothly. Our enemies were gradually trapped in a net of our making. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. On a carefully chosen date, we compiled all the evidence and submitted it to the authorities. At the same time, we held a major press conference, inviting top media outlets and business elites. At the conference, I stood on stage and exposed the tycoons' vile crimes. The audience was in an uproar. Everyone was shocked and outraged. These people, for their own greed, resorted to any means to harm the innocent. They must face justice, I declared firmly. The tycoons tried to deny everything, but their excuses were weak in the face of ironclad evidence. The authorities moved quickly, launching full investigations and making arrests. Their business empires crumbled almost overnight, their former glory turning to dust. Through this battle, I not only avenged my parents but also solidified my reputation. The business world looked at me with new respect and admiration. Jun Yichen and I embraced tightly, celebrating our hard-won victory. After succeeding in my revenge, I began restoring my family's honor with Jun Yichen by my side. Using our wisdom, resources, and the connections and wealth we had built, the family business empire was rapidly rebuilt, even more prosperous than before. Standing at the top floor of our new skyscraper, I looked out at the bustling city, filled with emotion. All of this is the result of our efforts. My parents can finally rest in peace, I said to Jun Yichen beside me. He smiled, his eyes full of love. Yes, we did it. It was a difficult journey, but every bit of it was worth it. As we restored the family's glory, our love for each other grew even deeper. We held a grand and romantic wedding, inviting close friends and family to witness our happiness. From that day on, Jun Yichen and I walked through life hand in hand. Together, we managed the family business and engaged in philanthropy to give back to society. Our story became a legend in the business world, inspiring countless others. And after all the trials and hardships, we had finally found our everlasting happiness.